Hey guys, it's me Matthew again. Today I'm going to be doing another audio. And this time, this particular story isn't based or inspired by any other story. It's purely my own. It's called A Tomcat's Happiness. And this one is a bit more easier for me to read this time. And this time it has a bit more additional audio sensations. And you'll see what I mean. But anyways, I truly do hope you all like this story. So please, if you like it, subscribe, press the ding bell down below. But if you're not new here, not subscribed, please subscribe, press the ding bell down below, as well as go over to my community posts. You don't know what you may find, as well as go over to check out my previous audio series known as Anime/Dragon Knight Unlimited. But anyways, let's move on to the audio story. Chapter 3, A Run in the Morning, a Wildlife Adventure. I woke up to an alarm that was annoying for my ears at 9 a.m. I asked, okay, whose alarm is that? Because that alarm is annoying and loud. Gracia said, sorry about that. It's the only thing that'll wake me up. I used to get in trouble for oversleeping at home when it was time to go to school. I said, then have Deanne drive this thing while you sleep. Gracia said, the pet straps don't work enough for me to trust her to drive it. Plus, we've not had time to fix them yet. Dion said, I actually fixed them while you were training them. Gracia asked, and you didn't tell me last night? Dion said, I wasn't thinking about it. Sabrina said, okay ladies, there's no need to get in a fight. What's done is done. And Gracia, please take note that Sabor is very sound sensitive, so he can get easily annoyed when woken up so suddenly when he's still tired. But anyways, it's time to get going. Gracia and Deanne said, yes ma'am. We got out and got freshened up, then drove 16 minutes until we drove into a park called Pinnacle Park, Bristol, Tennessee. We drove into the driveway parking lot and got out. Sabrina asked, you two ready for a morning run? Gracia said, yep. Deanne said, you know it, Sabrina dear. Sabrina said, then let's go. We ran on the trail with the woods on our left and the creek on our right. The place was beautiful, even more than the last one. The chill, calm morning air and the breeze felt amazing that I was enjoying the run more and more. There were animals everywhere just living their lives. There were leaves on the ground, but overall it was a beautiful place for a morning run. It was a little foggy, but it was only above the surface of the creek, so there wasn't anything to worry about. We ran for over an hour and ended up back at the Jeep. Gracia asked, so who's ready to get some breakfast at IHOP? Sabrina said, how about anywhere but there? They won't allow cats in there. Gracia said, oh, in that case, let's make some breakfast in the Chick. We have everything we need to make crepes. What you want, cherry or blueberry? Sabrina said, cherry. And do you happen to have salmon or Sabor to eat? Deanne said, Here you go, Sabor. Dan gave me a salmon to eat. I smiled and said, "Thank you, Dan." Dan said, "You're welcome," she smiled. After we were done eating, we got in our seats and drove off. We drove for almost 2 hours before we drove into the Knoxville Zoo. Sabria said, "Are there any tigers here?" Dan said, "Guess you'll have to find out." Sabria got excited and giddy when we got our parking place. We got out of the Jeep and walked over to the ticket booth in line for a couple of minutes. After we got our tickets, we walked in the zoo and began exploring. Gracia said, "Okay, let's be here on the map, and okay, let's check out the black bears first, then the cranes, and then the tigers." Sabria said, "Okay." We walked over to the black bears to our right and a few yards forward. The black bears were just walking around, being lazy, sleeping, and one was trying to give this one lady a hug or attempting to bite her head off, but couldn't because of the glass barrier. We then walked over to the cranes over in the opposite way of the black bears. The cranes were a big bird that was smaller than an ostrich, but similar to a peacock, but very pretty. We walked over to the tigers. They were over at the glass barrier in a tiny. I said, "Hey, you tomcat, you look cute." I said in our language, "Thank you, and you're beautiful yourself." She said, "Thank you. My name is Aria. What's yours?" I said, "Sabor, it's nice to meet you, Aria." Aria said, "It's nice to meet you too." One of the male tigers came over and asked, "Hey Aria, who are you talking to?" Aria said, "Hey Basher, this is Sabor. Sabor, this is Basher." I said, "It's nice to meet you, Basher." Basher said, "It's nice to meet you as well, Sabor." "Hey Aria, why are you talking with him?" Aria said, "Because he looks cute, and he's a cat like us." Basher said, "Okay, but you're not trying to." Aria said, "Oh, gosh, no. I had you and your brother for that." She looked at Basher's forehead. I saw the other tiger sneaking up on Basher's side. I smiled and said, "Well, anyways, I'd love to meet your brother Basher, or if he isn't already around." Basher sighed in a smile, said, "I already know where he is." "Isn't that right?" He jumped up at the other tiger, then continued saying, "Tanver." Tanver laughed and said, Okay, you got me. "Hi, your name is Sabor, correct?" I said, "It is, and it's very nice to meet you, Tanver." Tanver said, "Hey, well, anyways, food should be coming any time now, so if you don't mind, we'll be going into our cave now. Hope we see you again someday. Bye." Sabrina asked, "So where next?" Gracious said, "The next one is the lanyards, and they're this way." Sabrina said, "Okay." We walked back on the path and headed straight after a couple of minutes. We turned left at the fork, and there was the lanyards just swinging around in a breed of monkeys, scratching their butts, being rude to people. Horatio said, "Now the next animal is the tortoises, but let's get a bite to eat first, since there's a few places here in the kids' play zone, though we could see the nursing station." Sabria said, Let's eat, then go look at the tortoises. I've done enough nursing to even want to see that. Tian said, okay, well, let's get going then. When we got over there, the tortoises were huge and slow. After a minute, we walked past the bathrooms and headed over to see the snakes. There was copperhead snakes, corn snakes, and timber rattlers. One of the rattlers was looking at me, rattling its tail maraca and hissing at me, while I hissed right back, showing my fangs. The rattler then slithered away. What I'm guessing is it giving up, but I could be wrong. We went over to see the river otters, who were just swimming around, doing their own thing, being cute. We went over to the gibbons, and like the lanyards, to nobody's surprise, they did roughly the same thing. We then went ahead and went to see the red pandas. When we got over there, the red pandas were small but cute. We then went over to see the camels while we're on the west side of the zoo. When we got over there to see them, Spit was already flying at us. We did stick around to see them. Next was the elephants, and they were more friendly than those camels. We even got to feed them through their noses or trunks. We throw in the food out into their mouths.
Okay,
That was a little gross, but we might want to judge. I'm a vampire that drinks fish or bird blood before I eat them. We then went to see the rhinos, and all they really did was sleep, so we went on to see the zebras galloping around and having fun. We then saw the hornbills. They looked like a cross between a vulture and a toucan. They were interesting, but we went ahead to see the bat-eared foxes, and they actually looked like they should have bat wings to go with their bat color scheme. They did look beautiful like the other foxes I've seen, but they do look cool at least. We moved on to see the giraffes. They seemed like they were in the clouds to even care about people observing them, unless if they had food. We gave them some food, and man, their tongues were long, like their necks. It was crazy, but let's not talk about that. We went to see the baboons, and to no surprise, they were rude, so I went over to see the lions. The lion came up to me and asked in our language, "Hello, who are you?" I said, "My name is Sabor." "And what's your name?" The lion said, "I'm Peppo. It's nice to meet you." I said, "It's nice to meet you too." The lioness came over and said, "Hello there, I'm Amara. What's your name?" I said, "My name is Sabor. It's very nice to meet you, Amara. So how long have you two been here?" Amara said, "Around a year for the both of us, but he was here before me." Peppo said, "Yeah, we had to figure things out in order for us to get along." Amara said, "I had to bat a few times for getting too close to me." I said, "Well, that would have been a sight for me to see, but I take it that you've not been around females too much when you were younger." Peppo said, "Not really, not to mention we didn't know each other very well at first until a while ago." I said, "I see. Well, anyways, it was nice talking with you two. Bye." Peppo said, "Bye, Amar, what heck, Peppo," and said, "Bye, Sabor." I laughed, and then we went to see the African painted dogs. When we got there, they looked like hyenas, but I knew they weren't. After a couple of minutes, we moved on to the Dukers. When we got there, the Dukers looked pig-nosed yet looked like a deer without any antlers, but not very interesting for an animal that's unique. We moved on to see the gorillas, and when we got over there, to no surprise, they are rude in a different way to monkeys, but overall still rude. After we were done, we went ahead to see the chimpanzees. When we got over there, they were quite different. They acted more civilized than any other chimp or monkey or ape out there in the world. After a couple of minutes, we moved on to see the bald eagles. As we got over there, we saw the bald eagles fly majestically, beautifully, and gracefully down to catch a fish to eat. Gracious said, "What a majestic sight." Dan said, "No kidding, that was beautiful." Sabrina said, "I agree." We walked off to see the last animal in the zoo, and that is the red wolves. When we got there, they looked cunning, sneaky, good-looking, fur, and loyal. Sabria asked, "So what's next?" Gracious said, "By looks of things, we head back on the road and go to Heritage Park." Deanne said, "You think there's been more?" Sabria said, "I think everyone expects more than what is actually presented. But anyways, let's get going." Gracious said, "Agreed." It took 10 minutes for us to get there, and we are just now parking in the parking lot. Deanne asked, "Okay, now this is the last stop until we hit Texas. So, are you ready to run, Sabria?" Sabria laughed and said, "I'm already gone with Sabor." We ran as fast as we wanted, while Croatia and Deanne were biting our dust. We had been running 550 steps every half mile, as when we looked back, we couldn't see Croatia or Deanne's, but we kept running. It took us 16 minutes to get back to the Jeep, but we ran another lap around in concern of Croatia and Deanne. 5 minutes in the second lap, we ran past Deanne and Croatia, which relieved us of our worry. It took the fourth lap around for Deanne and Croatia to finish their first lap. Croatia said, "You are really fast." Deanne asked, "You two did 4 laps around. We just finished our first lap. How are you two so fit?" Sabria said, "I guess it's because we're used to running that fast, I guess. But if I had to put it into technical terms, I'd say it's a combination of experience, vampire speed, as well as Laura and I learning from one another to increase our speed." Croatia said, "You two are spectacular. Let's get going to Texas." Sabria said, "Okay." We got into the Jeep and drove off to Texas. 10 hours later, we stopped in a store parking lot to sleep for the night. After we ate our dinner, which was delicious, but we watched a movie before we all fell asleep.